How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The More You Mow. I'm, of course, Jay, and today I'm coming at you with a video about indoor lighting, particularly LED strip lighting for underneath your cabinets. Full disclosure, this was sent to me from Novostella. This was sent at no charge to me, but the review is all mine. The comments are all mine, the ideas are all mine. Pros and cons are all from me. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do this unboxing. So as you can see, I haven't opened it yet, so we're gonna look at this together. So go ahead and open the box up. Besides a packing slip showing what came in the box, and so as I said before, this is an under cabinet lighting system that was sent to me by Novostella. So they have a couple different sizes. They have a 6.56 size and a 13-foot length option. You can pretty much cover any length that you need to do for your cabinets, for your lighting for your kitchen or for your bathroom. From what I was told, these are also waterproof, so they can go in wet locations as well as dry locations. We'll go ahead and look at the specifications on this. There are 560 LEDs in the 6-foot length. The wattage is 25 feet. The color is adjustable, so you can go between 3000K and 6500K, depending on whatever lighting you already have in your house, so that way you can match your current lighting. As I said, these are 6.56 feet long, or 2 meters, and strip itself is IP65 rating. So inside the box, you get your LEDs, which come in this static free bag. You also get the product book, which goes over the contents and how you install it. You get a remote, so that way you can adjust light output and however you want it to look. Here's the controller for the lights themselves. This will plug into the strip, and this will plug into your transformer. Here's your transformer that'll plug into the wall. And that's it inside the box. One thing to note is that these are not smart lights, so you can't tie them into your Alexa or your Google smart home devices. You will have to go and get an adapter. These Govee Wi-Fi smart plugs that I'll be using. These you can adjust your on-off time. You can go ahead and adjust all your different automations that go with whatever smart home setup you currently have. So if you want to make them smart to where you don't have to turn them on and turn them off at nighttime or in daytime, you gotta go ahead and get some of these smart plugs. Just tie into your internet, your Wi-Fi, and they go also off of your Alexa and your Google Home. So here is your LED strip itself. You see you have your connector on one end that will connect into your controller, which you can only plug in one way. There's a guide on the side, so you just snap it in. And you plug this into your transformer like so, and then you're pretty much ready to go. Nice feature about these LED strips is they come with a 3M adhesive already on the back of it, so that way you don't have to go and fiddle with adding your own or trying to find a way to put a bracket in there to hold it up. And this should last for a long time as long as you properly prep your surface. So to give you an idea of what we're working with here, we have 4 different sections of cabinets that we're going to be putting these strips on. When you're going to put these strips on, you want to make sure that you clean the underneath of your cabinet very well. So there could be dust or food, or make sure that you clean the underneath with isopropyl alcohol and water to make sure you get any dust or contaminants off. You want to make sure that you get as clean as possible, so that way your adhesive sticks and it doesn't fall down. We're lucky because each of the cabinets have an outlet that's right next to where the cabinet is, underneath all of them. So that way we don't have to add any more electricity. You can tell that someone previously had a hole here, probably for some kind of lighting to begin with. We're gonna be going ahead and adding light underneath to give them more light. This is at my in-laws' place. They're complaining that there's not very much lighting in their kitchen. As you can see, this is how bright it is with all the windows and lights on in there. And hopefully we can get this a little bit brighter for them. Now for this section of the cabinets, I had him go ahead and notch out where the cabinets meet up. I didn't want to have to go and run it underneath like a notch style, so that way you see the LEDs pointing down. We want to keep them nice and clean and tucked up underneath this lip. So now that you got an idea of what we're working with here, we're going to go ahead and clean up underneath the cabinets, get all the dust and residue off the bottom of them, and then we're going to go ahead and do the install. So first thing you want to do is get a microfiber towel, get it wet, wipe it down, and after that come back through with isopropyl alcohol, do the same thing. Next up, we're gonna rub down the cabinets with isopropyl alcohol to make sure that we get all the oils off of it. This next step, we're going to get to installing the LED strips. The plan for this situation is we're going to go along this lip right here, come across the front, go all the way down, and then finish back in this corner. They don't have very much lighting here, so what a lot of people do is they'll just go along the front. What we're going to do is we're going to go back towards the wall on both sides, so that way they have as much lighting as possible all the way across their cabinets. For us, our power source is going to be right over here on this outlet, so we're going to come up out the outlet, attach underneath right over here, come across, go across the front, and then back to this corner over here. So let's go ahead and get that installed. First thing you want to do is peel up a little bit of your backing on your 3M, just enough to get to where you can get started. And go ahead and stick it on in the corner where you want to start, and apply pressure, and it sticks very easily. You get to a corner, it's going to be very hard to go and make a sharp 90. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to make a slight bend where it dips down a little bit. You're not going to notice it when you have them on, but that's part of the installation process. Is that's what you kind of have to do in order to be able to get as much lighting as possible. So what I'm doing here is I'm installing them on the top underside. Some people like to mount it to the lip, but I'd rather have it light shining down onto the cabinets instead of back on the wall. One thing to note is I thought these would be able to be cut, but according to the Novostella booklet, it says you can't cut them to whatever length you need. So I guess whatever length you have is whatever length you have. You kind of got to work with it. I wish that these were able to be trimmed down to where you can make them fit however you need, but from what I can tell and from what I read, you're not supposed to do that. So we're going to go ahead and install all the length that we have, and hopefully it turns out how we were expecting it to. So we're not able to go ahead and do the cuts. We're going to go and just add this, the rest of this length to underneath this cabinet. Like I said, you're not going to be able to see it anyway. So there you have it. So now that we have the lighting installed, go ahead and plug it in. We'll just pick this outlet for now. They can change it to whatever they want. We'll see what we get. So I don't know if you can tell the dramatic difference that that's actually just made. It made it very bright. You can change between different shades if you would like. So right now I think this is just a bright white, but the remote control does not come with battery, so you gotta provide your own. It takes 2 AAAs from what I can tell. So as you can tell, there's pretty much a 9-day difference as it sits. So this side over here obviously has the lighting underneath. This side does not. We'll be addressing that. But this is the remote that it comes with. So you have your different settings. So here you have your brightness, which is obviously up for more bright, down for less. This is your warm side for your color temperature. So you have your warm and you have your cool. So you also have your on and off buttons at the top. This is a night mode, and then you have your quick buttons to make them either to change your color temperatures. So you can go from your warm white to your cool white. So let's go ahead and give this a quick demonstration. So right now we have it, I believe as soon as you plug it in, it goes right to the cool white. So let's see what we have when we push the button. So I'm hitting cool. It doesn't do anything because it's already on cool, but as you can see, you can get it to however warm you want it to be. So it matches your lighting that you currently have in your house. Now that we have that installed, let's go ahead and work on this side. Typically you're able to cut along these copper marks right here, but I don't want to cut these because I'm not sure if it will make them so they don't work anymore, or if they're recommending that you don't cut them because then they lose their waterproof rating. Either way, I'm just going to use whatever I have on the strip to continue on. If I have extra, it's okay. The more light in this case, the better. So the 6-foot section actually fit this perfectly. You can see where I went in, where he notched it out on both sides, and then come back to the wall over here. So let's plug this in and see how it looks. So one thing I am noticing is that each remote works for each section separately. So you can't just use one universal remote to change all the lights all together. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is if you're trying to have them all be one brightness or one darkness all at the same time, you're gonna have to go ahead and adjust them individually. As I stated, you have various remotes for everything, so one will take care of one side, the other will take care of the other side. So I mean, that's kind of a pain. I wish they were all on the same radio frequency so that way you can control all of them at the same time. But also, if you have different areas that you want to do different lighting situations with, you can do so with these. Okay, let's do the same thing with this side, and we'll do another 6-foot section. Here's the other side. As you can see, this has a window next to it, so it's not as dramatic as a difference as it is on the other side. But again, you have to have a different remote for this side as well. So as you can see in this situation, I had to come around, circle around the bottom side of the cabinet, come through, and then I had a bunch of maybe 1.5 foot extra that I needed to add. So I just kind of kept following the strip that was going around. Like I said, this isn't my ideal situation, but from what I know, from what I can tell from the packaging, it says not to go ahead and trim these LED strips. So I'm not gonna do that. And there's your other LED strip. So this is kind of a rough look at how much light they put out. I would say that for the price, which is probably around $20 or $30, depending on what foot length you go with, you can't really be mad about the light output, especially with how dark this area is. So we'll kind of get an idea of what it looks like. So for the most part, this is how the lights look. I would say that the output's pretty good. I mean, it's more than what you could ask for the price range. I like the adjustability of the different color warmths, the brightness, and I think it actually complements this house pretty well. So now they have much more adequate lighting than what they had before, and hopefully they enjoy it. Run one more strip up along the top. So I'm gonna drop my wires down through the gap in the cavity between the cabinet and the wall, plug in this outlet right here, and we'll light up my mother-in-law's collection of materials up on top of this cabinet. Go ahead and try this key ring, see if I can get it dropped down there. As you can see, the key ring was just heavy enough to get my fish wire or my fish string down here. So I'm just using the back of the 3M sticker that came on the lights, so that way I can get my wire running back up. Now that's wiped down, we'll go ahead and fish up our wire with our key ring up to the top, and we'll go ahead and install our 13-foot strip. Almost all cabinets have a gap between the wall and the cabinet itself, and that's just how they're manufactured, so you're able to drop something in between, and that way you're able to fish up your wire. The wire is pulled up, just keep some weight on it so that way it doesn't fall back down or tied off on something. And yeah, man, that worked pretty good actually. So you get a double use out of this 3M tape. Now that we have our strip installed, we'll go ahead and connect everything to the transformer. Now the last step is to go ahead and plug in your transformer to the wall. And we have uplighting now. I feel like the color change is pretty dramatic. I really like how it brightens everything up a little bit more so they have more lighting in here, all the others. And like I said, this room is really dim. There's only one light up above and one spotlight above the sink. So as you can see, the colors are dimmable. Down here on the bottom, we have our cool white, and up at the very top, we have our warm white. So you can see the two different color variations that you can go with. Also, I forgot to mention that the kit also comes with these foam double-sided adhesive tabs that you can put for the controller so that we can stick them to the underside of the cabinet. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. This gives you an idea of how dark their kitchen was before. See, I have the window closed. There's one light up above, another one over here above their island. You can see there's not much lighting. These windows over here are open, but they're really not putting out much light into this kitchen. So you can see it's pretty dark. It's actually a lot darker in person than it looks like on camera. So this is the before, go ahead and turn the lights on that are built into the house. And this is after, this is just the LED lights that are on. So you can see there's a pretty dramatic difference between the two. So this is brighter with just these LED lights than it was with every other light turned on inside this kitchen. So all in all, I really like how this setup was done. So Novostella actually knocked it out of the park with their ease of installation as well as their options for warmth and brightness for their lights. Some pros that I noticed is that they come with the adhesive, so that way they stick right to whatever surface you're working with. You don't have to go out and buy anything else for it to work. I also like the fact that you can adjust the brightness, the dimness, the warmth, the cool of how you want your lights to look with whatever you have around. And also the price. So you can probably get these right now around, I'd say $15 to $30, depending on how many feet you're working with. I would say that's a pretty good bang for your buck. I mean, you're not going to be able to find much else as far as waterproof LED strip lights. I do also like the fact that they have a memory to where whatever color you had it set on and whatever brightness you have it set on is whatever will be when it turns back on. So that's a plus. So you don't have to go through and fiddle with each one every single time. Once you get it dialed into the color you like, you just leave it alone. And like I said, you use the smart plugs to make them turn on and off whenever you feel the need. Again, the brightness, as you can see, I mean, it's bright. They light up everything that you need to light up. Up top over here, it's got, I put it on a nice warm color so that way you can kind of see the color differential between the two. And overall, I think it's a really good product. Now, some of the cons that I've noticed. First of all, I don't really like how you can't control multiple different controllers with one remote control. You have to go through with each controller and individually change the setup for how you want your lights to look. For some people that's desirable, for some others it might not be, but in my situation, I mean, we can work with it. Another con that I have noticed is that these are not a smart device, so that means that you have to either turn them on or off with the controller or physically unplug them. But one way around that is, like I showed you in the beginning of the video, you can get these Adobe smart plugs on Amazon. You can have them turn on at dusk, turn off at dawn, or vice versa, however you want to set up. You just do it all on your phone, it's all in an app, so that way you don't have to change anything. Another con that I have noticed is that, as far as I can tell, you cannot adjust the length. I mean, I'm sure you are able to, but it will affect your waterproof rating. I would prefer it if you can go ahead and cut it to exactly the length that you need, but according to the book, they don't want you doing that, so I'm not going to go ahead and mess with it. I'm going to leave it just the length that they are. As far as I can tell, this is going to be a really good product. I'm sure that my mother-in-law will be happy when she gets home from work tonight and see that her kitchen's lit up. So if you enjoy this video and you want to go ahead and get a set for yourself for your home, however you want to use it, if you want to use it for your bathroom, you want to use it for your garage, you want to use them for your kitchen, you want to use them for any space that you feel that you need to have extra lighting in, feel free to check the link down in the description down below, and they'll be able to get you whatever parts you need to fit your application. I've used their products before. I have a previous video that I put up where I did their RGB IC lights for Christmas installation, well, really any holiday, and so far they've held up great. I've had them up for a little over a month now. I have no issues with how they're performing. Everyone seems to like them, and it seems like it's a pretty good product, which is also why I was willing to go ahead and work with them today to install these lights. They seem to stand by their product, and if you have any questions or concerns, they'll reach out to them. They'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So again, I want to thank you for tuning into the video, and hopefully you guys can find something you like. And if this is something that you're interested in, feel free to check the link down below and check the other video if you want to do some exterior lighting for your home. Again, this is Jay with TMYM, and I want to thank you again for tuning in another video. Have a great day. Take care.